Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here. And in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Wednesday, January the 26th. Now, once again, we do have a pretty big slate today. We got a 10-game slate. As always, guys, I am going to go through each one of these 10 games, kind of break down each team, give my early thoughts, what I do like, taking a first look at this slate on Tuesday night. And then as we do go through each game, we will bid out an early core. We'll talk about 5 players that specifically stand out to me for both DraftKings and for Yahoo. But as always, before we get started with the breakdown, please do, guys, hit the like button down below. I do always appreciate the likes, appreciate all of you that come in and like the videos every day. If you're new to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button as well. Do upload a ton of NBA content to this channel, getting up videos Monday through Friday. I live stream, an hour before lock as well, Monday through Friday. You can, check out those live streams. Also, I've been, uploading NFL content again, getting NFL content back up on the channel. I'll definitely have a video up this weekend for the 2-game championship slate on Sunday. I'll have a video up for the Super Bowl as well. So yeah, a ton of content coming out on the channel, guys. Make sure if you aren't yet, you hit that subscribe button. Also, if you're new to the channel, go check out PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the sponsor of this video. If you have not signed up for PrizePicks yet, sign up over there and use code NOAH when you do, and PrizePicks will give you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. PrizePicks, a newer DFS site, very simple to use. You're just picking the over or the under on players' projections. It's basically like prop bets, so you have point projections, rebounds, assists, three-pointers made. Also, you have PRA, so points, rebounds, and assists added all together. You can take a look at those as well. PrizePicks, they'll add fantasy point projections too. They usually get those posted like early in the morning. So if you want to check out their fantasy point projections, you can take a look at those. If you have access to your own projections, you can compare your projections to PrizePicks, and that can be a way that you make your decisions whether you go over or under. So if you guys have not signed up for PrizePicks yet, get over there, sign up, use code NOAH. They will give you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. And if you guys do want some of my favorite picks each day on PrizePicks, along with the entries that I play myself that I'm putting my own money on, I give all those out on Patreon. You can check out all the updated DFS content I provide on Patreon, along with all of my PrizePicks plays. That's all available for Patreon members. But yeah, guys, let's take a look at Wednesday's big 10-game slate. We're going to start off with the Bucks and Cavs game. So looking at Milwaukee today, there isn't too much that really stands out on the Bucks. They're pretty much fully healthy. I mean, they're still missing like Brook Lopez and Grayson Allen, but the big three, including Bobby Portis, like those 4 guys are all healthy. Giannis is probable, so he is expected to play today. We have seen like in past times, like Giannis has been probable and then he gets ruled out, but I would expect Giannis to play today. I think if Giannis plays, like he's an okay pay-up option. Now the matchup against Cleveland's not great. Cleveland really good defensively this year. But I think Giannis, any slate he's on, he's going to be a solid pay-up option. I think he's in play. Middleton and Drew, I'm not that high on. Portis, I don't really like at his price. It's really just Giannis for me, and that's it from Milwaukee. And then on the Cleveland side, we're going to need to monitor the status of Jared Allen. So Jared Allen is currently questionable. This is pretty big news. If Jared Allen does get ruled out, that would definitely give a boost to both Evan Mobley and Kevin Love. They did start Ed Davis last game in place of Jared Allen, but Ed Davis only played 17 minutes. I really wouldn't have any interest in him if he starts again. But I think Kevin Love, Evan Mobley would both be viable. Evan Mobley was kind of disappointing last game. Played 38 minutes, but only 37 DraftKings points. I think he does get a boost when Jared Allen is out. So if you want to go there, more of a tournament play, but I think 8,100, like Evan Mobley is still viable. Kevin Love smashed off the bench last game, had 43 DraftKings points, played 24 minutes. Now his minutes didn't really increase that much, even with Jared Allen out. He still only played 24 minutes. I think Kevin Love plays like 22, 24 minutes. I mean, he's 6K, so like you're not getting Kevin Love at much of a discount. But man, Kevin Love has been really good on a point per minute basis this year. He has shown a lot of upside. He could put up 35 DraftKings points in 24 minutes today, and I wouldn't be surprised. But I think at 6K, like unless Kevin Love starts, I'm probably not going to go to him at this price tag. Darius Garland is okay, 9,400, not the best spot here against Milwaukee. The price tag's also pretty high. Garland does have a lot of upside. He is going to play a lot of minutes on a nightly basis, but more of just a contrarian dart throw for me. I think that's probably it from the Cleveland side. I think we can go ahead and move on to the next game. Talk about Charlotte and Indiana. So Charlotte, we will need to monitor the injury report for Charlotte today. They are on a back-to-back, and Gordon Hayward was questionable Tuesday. He did not play. So we're going to have to watch the status of Gordon Hayward. If Gordon Hayward is out again, that's going to benefit guys like Kelly Oubre, PJ Washington, Cody Martin. Cody Martin has been starting in place of Gordon Hayward. He's been playing good minutes. He really hasn't been that productive, but the minutes have been there, and he's still pretty cheap at 4K. So I think Cody Martin would be a viable, cheap option if Hayward's out again. You could definitely look to guys like Oubre and Washington in tournaments. Oubre's minutes have been solid, mid to high 20s. I would expect that's what he plays today off the bench. PJ Washington only played 4 minutes. He got ejected. I forgot about that. He did get ejected Tuesday, but the game before that, when Hayward was out, PJ Washington played 31 minutes. I think if PJ Washington, doesn't get ejected again, if Gordon Hayward's out again, he probably plays like 25 to 28 minutes. At 4,700, he's someone we could maybe consider as a value play. But I don't really think there's going to be a ton of standout like core plays coming from Charlotte. I will say that LaMelo Ball, like this price tag just keeps coming down on LaMelo. Now, he's not been great lately. He's been really, underperforming. But 8,100, like the upside for LaMelo at this price tag is definitely there. We know he can put up a triple-double any night. He can contribute in all categories. I still think he's a viable tournament play, but that's probably it from Charlotte. So I think we can go ahead and move on to the next game, or the other side of this game, talk about Indiana. So Indiana today, we're going to need to monitor the status of Domantas Sabonis. So Sabonis, they said he was going to be out a few games. They played, I think it's been 2 or 3 games now that Sabonis has been out. We really don't have any update yet on Sabonis. I'm guessing that he would probably be out again. If he is out again, obviously a guy like Goga Batadze would benefit. I will say this is a really good matchup for Goga. Goga really struggled last game with fouls going up against Jonas Valanciunas, and that was kind of expected. I think Goga, if he can stay out of foul trouble, like he will play big minutes here. They've played him big minutes in the games that he hasn't been in foul trouble. The matchup is really good against Charlotte, so I think if Sabonis is out again, we can definitely consider a guy like Goga. I think Karis LeVert, his usage is just going to be amazing. I mean, last game he took 21 shots. He wasn't that efficient. He didn't have that great of a game, but that was a tougher matchup against Herb Jones and the Pelicans. Herb Jones has been a really good defender this year. I think this is a much better spot going up against Charlotte. Charlotte been playing at a really fast pace this year. Their defense has been improving, but I definitely think Karis LeVert at 8,600 is a pretty good option here, especially if Sabonis remains out. If Sabonis plays, I probably wouldn't be as high on LeVert, but he would still be a viable play. And that's probably it from Indiana. I think really, if Sabonis is out, LeVert and Batadze I like. That's probably it from the Pacers. I don't think I'd really be going to anyone else at their price points. So next game, Clippers and Magic. So Clippers today, I mean, this team, what a just complete shit show on Tuesday. I had interest in guys like Reggie Jackson, Zubac, whenever Marcus Morris got ruled out Tuesday, and it was just so bad. Like, Reggie Jackson played 16 minutes. Somehow the Clippers came back and won that game. They were losing by like 30 points. And then I think, a lot of the guys that were struggling, like Reggie Jackson, they just basically sat the entire game, and then they brought the guys off the bench, and the guys off the bench played really well. It's a weird situation. I mean, the Clippers right now, like they've been a really frustrating team. It seems like they're losing a lot of games that they probably shouldn't be losing. They're getting blown out a lot. On the road here against Orlando, like this is obviously a spot you expect the Clippers to be able to keep the game close. I think if Marcus Morris plays, there's not really going to be any standout options from the Clippers. But if Marcus Morris is out again, that does benefit Reggie Jackson. Obviously, Reggie Jackson was terrible on Tuesday. But I think in tournaments, he's probably going to be low owned, especially after he busted Tuesday. I would be fine going back to him if Marcus Morris is out again because I think the upside is definitely there. I think the same could be said for a guy like Zubac. Zubac's minutes were not great Tuesday. Obviously, he was another guy that kind of got benched in that game. But I think his minutes would be pretty solid if Marcus Morris were to be out. His usage would be pretty good as well. He had a great game last time Morris was out when they played Denver. 53 Draftkings points, one of the best games of the season for Zubac. So I think Zubac's in play as a value option. Again, like the guys off the bench, Bledsoe, Kennard, we saw them get a lot of run. Bledsoe, I know, started the second half over Reggie Jackson. I guess he didn't really play that much in the second half, but I know Kennard, he hit the game-winning shot. He played a lot of minutes in the second half. Do want to mention that Terrence Mann did start in place of Marcus Morris, and he played 32 minutes. I think if Terrence Mann starts again and Morris is out, 3,700 for Terrence Mann, like he's actually going to look like a pretty good value play today. So I definitely would be interested in Terrence Mann if Morris were to sit. If Morris plays, and then there's not too much I like from the Clippers. But on the Magic side, I mean, the Magic are a team I've just kind of been avoiding lately. It's been like a shit show for the Magic. Wendell Carter at 6'8", I think is probably priced where he should be. I will say that Mo Bamba, I believe, is questionable today. Mo Bamba's questionable. If Mo Bamba sits, that's going to make Wendell Carter look a little bit better. Still don't think he'd be like a priority play, but he would at least be a viable option. Cole Anthony has just been terrible lately. I don't know what's going on with Cole Anthony. Even in games where he's playing like 30, 32 minutes, I mean, he's just not been that productive. Maybe with Jalen Suggs back, like that's really hurt Cole Anthony. It seems like it has. Ever since Jalen Suggs has returned, like Anthony has just been terrible. So I don't feel great about Cole Anthony. Jalen Suggs actually has been playing really well, and he's been getting good minutes too. 34, 35, 33 minutes the last 3 games. Been really productive, at least 35 DK points in 3 straight games. The price tag at 5,800, it's starting to get to a point where I don't think Suggs is a great play, but with how well he's playing, with how many minutes he's getting, I still think he is viable, but I do feel like, at this point at 5,800, he's kind of priced to where he should be. Wagner's been really bad. His price is way down at 5,200, but he just hasn't been that great. Was solid last game in 38 minutes, but his minutes have just kind of been, I don't know, some games he'll play like high 30s, and then some games he'll get into like the 20s. Like, it's just weird with these Magic guys. They spread out the minutes so much. You never know who's actually going to play big minutes. Like, some games, even in close games, like Cole Anthony will only play like 28 minutes. I try to avoid, loading up on Magic guys. They're just a team I really just don't like rostering. On a 10-game slate, I'm probably not going to be too excited about many Magic guys today. But like if Mo Bamba sits, I think we could look to Wendell Carter. I think Jalen Suggs is fine. Wagner's fine. But that's probably it from Orlando. So next game, talk about Sacramento and Atlanta. So Sacramento today, we're going to have to watch the injury report here because Sacramento is on a back-to-back, and they did sit De'Aaron Fox on Tuesday. He did not play. I'm guessing De'Aaron Fox will play today. If he does, I don't know if there's going to be that much that really stands out from Sacramento. Terrence Davis got injured in Tuesday's game and did not return, so there's a possibility that he could maybe be out today. Obviously, if Fox returns, I don't think, obviously Davis would go back to the bench anyway. But if like Fox and Davis are both out, then there's going to be a decent amount to like from Sacramento. I think Tyrese Halliburton, I know he busted on Tuesday with Fox out, but I would be fine going right back to Halliburton here. Really good matchup against Atlanta. Obviously, they just got the shit beat out of them on Tuesday. They lost by like 50. It was a blowout. Halliburton didn't even play in the fourth quarter. It was basically like worst case scenario for Halliburton Tuesday. Now, much better spot against Atlanta. Obviously, usage is going to be there without Fox if Fox were to sit again. So I would really like Halliburton today if Fox remains out. I think Buddy Hield would look a little bit better, especially if Fox and Davis are both out. They might start Buddy Hield if that's the case. He did start the second half in place of Davis. So like we could maybe look to Buddy Hield. They would start Davion Mitchell if Fox and Davis are both out. So like, he could be a viable cheap option, 4,400. I don't think I'd be going to anyone else though in Sacramento. Rashawn Holmes is really cheap, but like he's just been so freaking bad this year. His minutes have not been great either. Tough guy to trust at 4,500, even at 4,500. Really, the guy we're going to want to target here if Fox is out is going to be Halliburton for sure. But then on the Atlanta side, so looking at Atlanta here, Trae Young, 10,400. I think Trae Young on this slate looks like a decent pay-up option. I do like the matchup against Sacramento. Sacramento this year have been playing relatively fast. They haven't been that good defensively either. We know Trae Young's role is just so good. He's going to have the ball in his hands so much. His usage is just going to be massive. He's going to take 20, 25 shots a game. He's going to get a ton of assists. He can get rebounds as well. Trae Young just does everything when he's on the court. On this slate specifically with guys like Giannis, with Jokic on this slate, we got Harden playing without Kyrie and KD. I don't think Trae's my favorite stud, but he's definitely viable. More of a tournament play, but I have some interest. Clint Capella, I would like a lot in this matchup, but I'm a little bit worried about Capella's minutes. So the last two games since he's come back from injury, he's played 26 minutes in both games. So I don't think Capella's just going to play like 35 minutes today. I think he probably plays like high 20s. Maybe he gets like 30 minutes. The matchup's really good, but I don't think I can go to Capella, just because they haven't shown the minutes really haven't been there since he's come back from injury. Hasn't been playing enough to be worth rostering at that price tag. Collins, I'm not really that high on. DeAndre Hunter is questionable, so this will be something to monitor. I think Bogdan is questionable as well. Okay, so he's actually probable. So I think now that Bogdan's probable and he's expected back, that's probably going to take me off of guys like Hunter and Herter. Even if Hunter's out, I don't think that really changes too much. Probably it from Atlanta. I think that's really everyone that I have interest in. So we can move on to the next game, talk about the Knicks and the Heat. So the Knicks today, not a team I have much interest in. Really tough spot here on the road against Miami. Miami plays pretty slow. They're a really good defensive team. Julius Randle's been really struggling lately. He's just like a low-owned dart throw. Even Randle in tournaments I'm not that high on. RJ Barrett, almost 8K. I think you're paying the premium right now for RJ Barrett. Again, tough spot on the road against Miami. Kemba I don't really like. Mitchell Robinson and Nerlens Noel are both questionable. So this is actually something we will need to monitor. If by some chance Robinson and Noel both do not play, we would probably see Taj Gibson start at center. Now, Taj Gibson, he's not a great point-per-minute player, but if by some chance Robinson and Noel are both out, Taj Gibson would have to play like 32, 34 minutes. We have seen when he makes spot starts, a lot of times he will get pretty good minutes. So I think it's still minimum 3K with power forward and center eligibility. Taj Gibson would actually be a decent value play today if Noel and Robinson are both out. He'd be the one guy I'd look to target from the Knicks. Outside of that, I'm not too excited about many Knicks today. And then on the Miami side, Miami's starting to get a little bit healthier. They're getting Tyler Hero back for this game. So with Tyler Hero back, that's going to hurt Jimmy and Bam a little bit. I still think Jimmy is pretty solid here, 8,500. With Kyle Lowry still out, there's going to be a pretty big role for Jimmy Butler. I don't know if they're going to start Hero or bring him off the bench. I'm guessing that Hero will still come off the bench, so we'll probably see Jimmy start at point guard once again. You know, the peripherals have been there for Jimmy. He's gotten double-digit rebounds and double-digit assists in 2 out of his last 4 games. You know, he's got triple-double upside right now. I don't think the matchup's that good, but you know, Jimmy Butler's role is just so good. He's going to have the ball in his hands a ton without Lowry. He's going to play huge minutes. I definitely think Jimmy's still in play. I think Bam is okay as well, but I'm a little bit less interested in Bam now that Hero's back. Hero himself, I think, maybe playable. Without Lowry, there should be a lot of minutes available for Hero. He should come back and play his normal, 32, 34 minutes. At 6,600, like I think he's priced probably where he should be, but Hero is at least a viable option. And the rest of Miami, I'm not that excited about. Guys like Vincent, Strus, Robinson. Now that Hero's back, I think those guys are pretty much out of play for me. So really, Jimmy Butler's the guy that stands out most for Miami. Next game, though, Denver and Brooklyn. So on Denver today, I mean, Jokic 12-4. Like, Jokic at this point is just like, he's one of the best plays on the slate, every single slate. I mean, you look at his freaking game log. He's got at least 62 DraftKings points in 5 straight games. He had 71 DK points against Detroit on Tuesday. Played 34 minutes, had 28 points, 21 rebounds, 9 assists. I mean, Jokic has just been doing everything lately. It's a good matchup here against Brooklyn. Brooklyn's a team you can definitely beat down low with big men. Whether it's LaMarcus Aldridge or Day'Ron Sharpe or Nicholas Claxton, none of those guys are going to be able to stop Jokic. Jokic is definitely one of the better pay-up options. On the other side of this game, we have Harden, who looks great as well. I think I slightly prefer Harden over Jokic today. But, man, I really like Jokic once again. I think the rest of Denver, I'm not that interested in. Will Barton, surprisingly, did not play Tuesday. I'm guessing Will Barton will play today. If he comes back, that makes guys like Aaron Gordon, Monte Morris, Jeff Green just look not that appealing. Jokic, in my opinion, is really the one guy that I like from Denver. The rest of Denver, I'm not too high on. And then on the Brooklyn side, so Brooklyn, a team we're probably going to be looking to go to again. Obviously, another home game here for Brooklyn, so Kyrie Irving will once again be out, and Kevin Durant is out right now for injury, so it's going to be the James Harden show again. 11,500 for Harden. Still looks great to me. On Yahoo, I think his price tag is still too low. I mean, his price tag didn't even move on either site, $49. We saw Harden crush, even in a somewhat of a blowout against the Lakers on Tuesday. Harden still put up a triple-double, 73 DraftKings points in 38 minutes. Now, this matchup against Denver may not be as good as that matchup was against the Lakers. But like Harden's role, without KD and without Kyrie, he's just going to do everything. He's going to score, he's going to get rebounds, he's going to get assists. He's got triple-double upside every night. His usage is going to be massive. He's going to take 25, close to 30 shots. I mean, Harden is basically like an auto play for me whenever, KD and Kyrie are both out, especially with his price not being like super, super high. I mean, 11.5, that's still a good price tag on Harden. He still has, just as much upside as someone like Jokic. So really like Harden once again. I think LaMarcus Aldridge, is okay. But Nicholas Claxton did return Tuesday, so it's going to be hard to tell like what they do with the center minutes now that Claxton's back. It might be like a 3-way committee at center with Aldridge, Claxton, and Sharpe. Aldridge played 20 minutes on Tuesday. Claxton played 17, and I think Sharpe played the other 11 minutes. Yeah, it was basically a 3-man committee at center with Aldridge, Claxton, and Sharpe all getting minutes. So if that's going to be the case here, like it's probably a situation you want to avoid. I think going up against Jokic, like Aldridge is probably their best guy to throw out there. So maybe he gets the most minutes of the centers, but don't love the Brooklyn centers today. I think Patty Mills, though, is someone we can look to again for value. 4,900 on DraftKings. He wasn't great Tuesday. He's cheap on Yahoo, though. He's cheap on both sides. And I'm fine going back to Patty Mills today, at least, for right now. We'll have to wait and see what other value we get as the day goes on. Now, obviously, on Tuesday's slate, there was a ton of value that opened up. The Pelicans, they sat a lot of guys, so there was a lot of value from the Pelicans. There was a lot of good plays that opened up due to injury news. Right now, I think Patty Mills is kind of a placeholder value. I'm fine going to because if this game is close, Patty Mills is going to play, mid to high 30s minutes. He got pulled early in that game on Tuesday because it was a blowout, only played 30 minutes. But he took 14 shots. I think he took the second highest amount of shots behind Harden. So like Patty Mills is going to be the number 2 on offense behind Harden. He doesn't really do much else outside of shoot, but he's a really good shooter. When he gets hot, he can really rack up big games. He can get hot from the field. He's had big games in the past, so I think Patty Mills at 4,900 with Harden or with KD and Kyrie still out. Like Patty Mills is definitely someone I do like as a value. Kessler Edwards should keep starting. He started again on Tuesday, played 33 minutes. I think he starts and plays mid to high 30s minutes. He hasn't been great on a point per minute basis, but the minutes will be there for Kessler Edwards, which at least makes him a playable value. And that's probably it from Brooklyn. I don't see really anything else I want to go to. DeAndre Bembry started Tuesday, played 30 minutes, wasn't great. on this slate, I don't think Bembry really stands out, even if he starts again. So let's go ahead and move on to the next game, talk about Toronto and Chicago. So Toronto, another team on a back-to-back today, and another team we're going to have to watch when it comes to the injury report. Fred VanVleet and Scotty Barnes both did not play on Tuesday. For now, I'm just going to assume that VanVleet and Barnes play today, but this is going to be something to monitor. With VanVleet and Barnes out Tuesday, we saw big games from Siakam, big games from OG. Chris Boucher started. He played pretty well. Gary Trent played really well. I mean, if those guys are out, like, there's going to be a lot to like from Toronto. Siakam, OG, Boucher, Trent would all be pretty good plays. I mean, Siakam smashed on Tuesday, 55 DK points in 39 minutes. OG played 36 minutes, had 42 DK points. Boucher started, played 30 minutes, had 30 DK points. Gary Trent played big minutes, 35 minutes, 42 DK points. Like, all those guys are going to look good if if VanVleet and Barnes are both out. Now, if VanVleet and Barnes both play, then it's not as exciting. I still think a guy like Siakam would be viable just because Siakam's been playing so well lately. He's been playing so many minutes. I mean, we kind of know that even when the Raptors are healthy, like even if VanVleet and Barnes both play today, Siakam's still going to play like 40 minutes. VanVleet's going to play 35 to 40 minutes. OG is going to play high 30s minutes. Scotty Barnes is going to play into the high 30s. So the minutes are going to be there for all those guys. I think Toronto would look a lot more appealing today, though, if VanVleet or Scotty Barnes sit. If one of the two sit, there's going to be a good amount to like. If they both sit, then you're probably going to be wanting to roster at least a couple Raptors today if both those guys are out again. But that's probably it from Toronto. I don't think I'd really be going to anyone else. I know Precious Achiuwa started, but he didn't play that well. Just 25 minutes, 21 DK points. I don't think I'd be going to Achiuwa even if he starts again. I think I'd be mainly considering the guys that we talked about. And then on the Chicago side, looking at the Bulls, so Nikola Vucevic, he's probable, so he's expected to play today. We saw Zach LaVine return last game. They said Zach LaVine was going to be on a minutes limit, and he played 35 minutes just because it seems like anytime there's a player that's said to be on a minutes limit, they never are actually limited, especially when it's like star players. At this point, like when a star player is supposedly going to be limited, I almost don't even want to believe the coach. So I'm expecting LaVine to play his normal 36, 38 minutes today. At 8,300, like I think Zach LaVine is definitely my favorite of the Chicago guys. Obviously, they're still without Lonzo. DeMar DeRozan rested last game, but he'll be back for this game. I think if I had to choose one of the big three from Chicago, I would prefer LaVine the most. Probably would rank them LaVine number one, then DeRozan, then Vooch. With Vooch being so much more expensive than LaVine and DeRozan, he would definitely be way behind those guys for me. Kobe White and Ayo, now that LaVine's back, I don't really have any interest in. It's really just LaVine I think's viable. Maybe DeRozan's okay. But LaVine's the guy I like most from Chicago. He's probably more of a tournament play, though, on this slate specifically. And then moving on to the next game, Memphis and San Antonio. So Memphis today, going to have to watch some question marks here. So Desmond Bane has been in COVID protocols, and he is questionable, so he could maybe be back today. Brandon Clark is listed as questionable with a back injury, so that'll be something to monitor. They're still without Dylan Brooks, still without Kyle Anderson, still without Tyus Jones. But if Desmond Bane does return, that's going to hurt guys like D'Anthony Melton, John Conchar, maybe hurts the upside a little bit on John Morant. I still think John Morant at 9,900 is a pretty appealing tournament play. I mean, Ja's been really, really good lately. Last 3 games, been playing massive minutes, 39, 37, and 41 minutes for Ja, 67, 56, and 60 DraftKings points. His minutes have just been through the roof ever since Tyus Jones has been out. Tyus Jones obviously is the backup point guard. I don't know if they really have anyone else that they feel comfortable giving a lot of backup point guard minutes to, so I think you're going to see Ja play really big minutes if this is a close game, and Ja has upside. I think the price tag's where it should be, but definitely like Ja in tournaments. The rest of Memphis, I'm not too excited about, especially like if Bane and Clark both play. Then it takes like all the value guys out of play. It's really just Ja that stands out for Memphis, and that's probably it from the Grizzlies. And then on the San Antonio side, so San Antonio, they are on another team on a back-to-back today, but they blew out the Rockets Tuesday, so I'm guessing that we won't really have to worry about any rest spots here. Everyone should be good to go. Dejounte Murray, I mean, he's right there with John Morant. Kind of similar plays to me. Both guys have a lot of upside. Both guys are going to play, high 30s minutes if this is a close game. I mean, Dejounte Murray's just been so good this season. He's obviously someone you can look to on this slate. I still don't think he's like a priority pay-up option for me, but if I was playing multiple lineups, I probably would have Dejounte Murray in at least like one of my 3 lineups if I was playing like 3 lineups. If I'm just playing one lineup today, don't know if I'd get to Murray. Jakob Poeltl at 6'2", I still think looks pretty good at this price point. I mean, he's just been really, really solid lately. You look at his game log, at least 37 DK points in 5 straight games. He's been playing big minutes as well. Obviously on Tuesday it was a blowout, so he didn't play as much. But if this is a close game, I think Jakob Poeltl plays probably 34, 35 minutes and at 6,200. Like, that's still too cheap for Jakob Poeltl. So I definitely like Jakob Poeltl. Him and Murray, I think, are both in play. And the rest of San Antonio, I'm not as excited about. I guess, Derek White and Keldon Johnson are fine. But, like, I think Murray and Poeltl are the two plays that really stand out from the Spurs. Then the next game, Phoenix and Utah. So looking at Phoenix today, Phoenix is going to be a pretty shorthanded team. We're going to have to definitely be targeting some guys from Phoenix. Devin Booker and Chris Paul, I think, at their price points, they're not the standout plays for me. Booker's almost 10K now. I think Booker has a lot of upside here. I think his usage should be great without Ayton, without JaVale McGee, all these guys out right now. But Devin Booker at his price point, like, I would rather play Murray. I'd rather play Ja Morant. Those two guys. Not as interested in Booker. Chris Paul at 9K, another guy that I think probably priced to where he should be. We'll say that Chris Paul's minutes have been great lately, and I think with Cameron Payne out right now, that does boost the minute ceiling for Chris Paul. We've seen the last 3 games without Cameron Payne, 37, 41, and 40 minutes for Chris Paul. So I think instead of like 32, 33 minutes from CP3 today, we're going to get like 36, 38. So that does make him look a little bit more appealing. At 9K, like, I think he's priced to where he should be, but Booker and Paul both have a lot of upside here. Still think they're more of secondary plays for me. Mikal Bridges at 5,900, not that interested in. Bismack Biyombo, though, do like quite a bit. So obviously no DeAndre Ayton still, and JaVale McGee's out as well for Phoenix. So I'm expecting Bismack Biyombo to start at center. Bismack Biyombo, I think, is going to play like as many minutes as he can handle, just because I don't know if they really want to give anyone else minutes. I expect Jalen Smith to be the backup center, but Jalen Smith has kind of been out of the rotation lately, so I don't know if he's going to come in and just steal a ton of minutes from Biyombo. I think Biyombo is going to play a lot here. I think he's going to play, low to mid 30s minutes. He's been great on a point per minute basis this year with Phoenix. When he's gotten minutes for the Suns, he's been really, really productive. He's averaged a fantasy point per minute, if not better. 5,500. I think this is probably too low of a price for Biyombo now that we can expect him to start and play at least 30 plus minutes. The matchup against Whiteside's really good. Gobert is still out for Utah, so he's not going to have to match up with Gobert. He gets to match up against Whiteside. Really, really like Biyombo today. I think he's a standout play. I think Cam Johnson's a really good value again as well. So Cam Johnson started last game in place of Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder's out again, so I'm expecting Cam Johnson to start once again. Cam Johnson played a ton last game. He played 38 minutes, had 35 Draftkings points. Cam Johnson, really, really good shooter. Doesn't do much else outside of, shoot and grab rebounds. But he's going to be on the court a ton. He's going to play a ton of minutes. He's going to get plenty of open looks, and he's a knockdown shooter. I think on Yahoo, his price is probably more reasonable there, $19, but I still do like Cam Johnson on both sides, especially the DraftKings price tag. I think $4,300 is still way too cheap for Cam Johnson. Expecting him to play big minutes and start once again, he should be closer to 5K. So really like him, and then it's probably it from Phoenix. I don't think I'd be going to anyone else except, if you want to take a dart throw on Jalen Smith, Bismack Biyombo, I expect starts the center. I expect Jalen Smith to be the backup center. If by some chance Bismack Biyombo gets into foul trouble or something, which is always a possibility, that would definitely benefit Jalen Smith. But, Jalen Smith, they just haven't really shown much inclination to give him minutes lately. So I think they're going to want to play Biyombo as much as possible. And Jalen Smith probably just plays like 12 to 14 minutes unless, Biyombo gets in foul trouble or something. So that's probably it for Phoenix. We can go ahead and move on to the Utah side now. So Utah today going to be without Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, but they are getting back a lot of guys that were out last game. So Mike Conley's back, Joe Ingles is back, Royce O'Neal is back. I don't think there's a ton that stands out from Utah. Clarkson and Conley, without Mitchell and Gobert, I think both those guys have upside, but they're priced probably where they should be. 7.4 for Clarkson, 7.2 for Conley. Bojan's almost 7K, so I don't think he really stands out either. Whiteside I actually do still like a good amount. So Whiteside did return last game, and he played big minutes. He played 33 minutes. Wasn't that productive, only 27 DraftKings points, but we know Whiteside is normally a pretty good point per minute player. I'm expecting him to start again and play, mid to high or low to mid 30s minutes. Matchup against Biyombo, I don't think it's really that scary. So definitely like Whiteside today as a center option. Probably would put Biyombo ahead of him, especially since Biyombo is a little bit cheaper. But do like Whiteside, probably my favorite play from Utah. The rest of Utah, Ingles, Royce O'Neal, Rudy Gay, I'm not excited about those guys. Daniel House had a huge game last game, but I would expect his minutes go way down now that they're getting a lot of guys back. So I think it's just Whiteside for me, and that's probably it from Utah. But then the last game of the night, Dallas and Portland. So Dallas, they're another team on a back-to-back today. I think they blew out the Warriors, or either the Warriors blew them out. I think the Warriors blew out Dallas. So Dallas, their starters didn't really play full minutes on Tuesday, so everyone should be good to go here. We will need to watch the injury report, though. You always have to watch injury reports for teams on back-to-backs. There's always a possibility that guys get rested, but expecting Luka and Porzingis and everyone to play. Luka at 11-1. would probably put him behind, like, probably would put him behind Jokic, probably would put him behind Harden. John Morant and Dejounte Murray I really like. I don't think Luka's like a priority spend up today, but definitely, good matchup here against Portland. Portland, not that good of a defensive team. They've been playing somewhat fast this year. I think they've been about middle of the pack in pace so far this season. So I think it's a pretty good spot for Luka. I think he's a viable dart throw in tournaments. More of a secondary play for me. Porzingis at 7-6, I think is viable as well. Definitely like the matchup for him here against Portland. He went off against Portland earlier this year. For what it's worth, I will say that Luka was out that game, but I think Porzingis at 7-6 is another guy we can look to from Dallas. I don't think I'd be going to anyone else, though, on Dallas. Tim Hardaway did get injured in Tuesday's game, and I think he's going to be out for a while is what was reported. So, like, maybe you see more minutes for Jalen Brunson. I think Jalen Brunson, like, he played an absurd amount of minutes on Tuesday, if I remember correctly. Let's see. He played... So yeah, in the blowout, he played 36 minutes, and I'm pretty sure at halftime, like, I think he played, like, almost the entire first half. He played, like, 22 minutes in the first half, which was unreal. I mean, Brunson should play a lot. I think his upside playing alongside Luka and Porzingis is not nearly as good, but his minutes should be through the roof. I mean, he should play high 30s minutes. So, Brunson's, I think, is okay at 5,700. Probably it, though, from Dallas. I think Luka, Porzingis, the guys that really stand out. Brunson's okay as well. But we can go ahead and talk about Portland now real quick before we do end the video. So, Portland today, Nurkic is 7,700. I think it's a pretty good play here. Nurkic has been getting good minutes lately. He played, big minutes once again on Tuesday against Minnesota. Played 31 minutes, had 44 fantasy points. He's just been really good on a point-per-minute basis as of late. The minutes have been there as well. I think as long as he can stay out of foul trouble, we will see Nurkic play, mid to high 30s minutes. So definitely think Nurkic is viable. CJ McCollum I like quite a bit. So CJ McCollum was pretty disappointing on Tuesday against Minnesota. Did not have that great of a game. I had a lot of interest in CJ McCollum on Tuesday's slate. Even though he was disappointing, like, I think I'm fine going right back to CJ McCollum. I still like the price tag on both sides. $30 on Yahoo, I still think is too cheap for him. On Yahoo, on Draftkings, I think 7,300 still looks pretty good for CJ as well. We know Dame is out right now for the Blazers, so CJ is going to have the ball in his hands a lot. His usage is going to be, pretty good. Anthony Simons has definitely come on and taken a big role, and, he's kind of filled in really well for Dame. But I still think when Dame is out, like, this is CJ's offense, and this is CJ's team. And I think, most games, he's going to be the guy taking most of the shots. He can get assists as well. He'll have the ball in his hands more with Dame off the floor. So definitely like CJ at 7,300. Simons, not as interested in. I think still in play, but I would rather play CJ. The rest of Portland, Powell, Covington, Little. Don't think I'd be going to those guys. Nasir Little did get injured in Tuesday's game, but he did return. So keep an eye on his status. I think he played really well Tuesday, if I remember correctly. He played 28 minutes, got injured, put up 31 fantasy points. Like, he's actually been playing really well lately and been playing good minutes. So even with Powell back, like, maybe Little could still be viable, but probably more of a secondary option. I have a good feeling there's going to be, good value open up as the day goes on, so we probably won't really have to go to Little for value. But that's it for Portland, guys, and that's it for this big 10-game Wednesday slate. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, appreciate you watching. If you did enjoy, click that like button down below. Click that subscribe button as well. Go check out the sponsor of the video, PrizePicks. Go sign up for PrizePicks. Use code NOAH. When you do, and PrizePicks will give you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my code. And take a look at what PrizePicks has to offer. Make some picks for tonight's NBA games. Take a look at their board for other sports. They do offer a lot of other sports. You can mix and match sports on PrizePicks. You can win up to 10 extra money. If you have not yet, go sign up over there. Use code NOAH when you do, and PrizePicks will give you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100 when you sign up with my promo code. But that's it for today's slate, guys. Wish you the best of luck. Appreciate you watching the video. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.